Wait. Where's the background music? Oh, this scene doesn't have a background music. Wait, it should. It should. Oh, it's muted. Let's put that back on. There we go. Anyway, hey Nuggets, welcome to the food truck. My name's Ruka. Welcome. So today, honestly, I had a clear idea what I wanted to do today before I actually did the stream, and now that I took a nap and got everything ready, it's like, oh crap. What did I want to talk about for this particular stream, for this particular Japan Talk stream? It's been, I think it's been forever since we did our last Japan Talk stream. Let me double check really quick when that was, because it has been a while, and I feel like I was just kind of like talking about random stuff at the time. Well, random stuff within a certain theme, but still, it's like, okay. But today, most of today is an excuse, really, to because here's the thing, I am going to be going to Japan this year, at least hopefully if everything goes well, and basically, I'm kind of having a little bit of a what was it called? Decision paralysis? Is that what it's called when you can't decide what to do in a certain situation? I think that's kind of what I have right now. It's a little bit of a decision paralysis, just because. Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, it's I don't know the area too well where I'm going to, so I have done some research, and there's a lot of places that look nice, but also the place I wanted to go to, uh, at least the location I'm going to, for some reason doesn't have the kinds of places I'm looking for, or at least the kinds of qualities I'm looking for in a ryokan onsen. So let's just clear this up really quick first. Okay, let's just clear this up really quick first. Onsen versus ryokan. Let me just. I didn't expect to do a writing thing on this stream, but we're gonna do a impromptu writing thing. Okay. Onsen, and this one does not have a outline. Let's do an outline. Why do you default to white outline? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Okay, let's just start off with a few basic definitions. What is an onsen? Onsen equals hot spring. Hot spring, and it's not fitting. Fit within bounds. Transform. Stretch horizontally. No bounds. No. Scale to inner bounds. That does not seem right. Transform. Fit to screen. There we go. So, onsen equals a hot springs. It gets a little bit, what do you call this? It gets a little bit confusing sometimes. Is a onsen the hot spring itself? Is a onsen just the bath? But yeah. Hey KGG, welcome! Maybe a good travel guy as always. Yeah, I mean, today is kind of an excuse for me to try to figure out where I want to go for my trip. Like, I'll get to that when I get to that. But basically, it's an excuse for me to look at a bunch of different places and decide where I want to go. I have a few ideas where I want to go for this trip, but I also kind of want to show you guys what I'm looking for when picking these things, so that you kind of have an idea what to look for when you go. If you already went to Japan once and have been to an onsen, I would also like to hear what you have to say. If you haven't been to Japan before, or maybe you've gone to Japan but have not been to like an onsen or ryokan, then this stream is probably for you. And like I said, if you have experience in doing like this kind of looking around, trying to figure out what to do stuff, that's probably a bit of back and forth between us would also be good. But for now, let's just get some definitions really quick because this is kind of confusing. At least some terminology is a little confusing. Onsen is a hot spring, okay? But when we talk about onsen as a hot spring, we're not talking about the hot spring, the what do you call it, the raw hot spring itself, it's like the source. Because for every, I think to be a definition for to be an onsen, the bath water has to be mixed with the hot spring water. So it's a mixture of both of regular water and hot spring water. You really don't want to bathe in the hot spring itself most of the times because it's way too hot. I don't exactly know how hot, but it's probably going to be hot enough to cook you. And that's kind of bad. I think there are some hot springs that are warm enough to where you can actually dip into. But even if that were the case, these hot springs have a lot of minerals and other stuff dissolved into the water. It's not just hot water. No. I think a lot of times depending on what region, what maybe not, yeah, region, location, each hot spring is different. There's the most common hot springs that you'll probably find, at least if you go around the Hakone area, or at least most hot springs resorts, is like the sulfuric hot springs. You know you're in a sulfuric hot spring if you smell basically rotten eggs in the air. And normally I guess that's a bad thing, but in a hot spring that's actually really good because you know you're in a good spot. Basically you know you're in a good spot. And supposedly, I think there's studies about this also, but you can look those up yourself. I haven't really looked into them, but I pretty much trust the sources that have mentioned them. But for the dissolved stuff in the hot springs itself, they're usually good for a lot of skin conditions, typically. I mean, one bath isn't gonna change your entire world, but one bath is gonna make your skin feel pretty nice after you get out, not gonna lie. And there's also a few that are supposedly good for circulation and I guess some other things, maybe like decrease your heart rate, but I feel like a lot of those are just because you're in hot water, literally, that you feel calmer, so your circulation will also be better and your heart rate will be more regular. But I think the more immediate effects is going to be how nice the water feels on your skin, um, especially if you have like some troublesome skin. It might smoothen that out a little bit. Like I said, one bath is probably not going to be enough, but at least for the short term, it's gonna feel nice. It's gonna feel nice. But yeah, so onsen is a hot spring, and typically it's going to be like when you actually go to a place that has the onsen itself, the onsen bath, it's going to be a mixture of regular water and the hot spring water, like I said, because sometimes the hot spring's too hot, or the stuff that's dissolved in the hot springs is too concentrated and you want water to dilute it a bit so it doesn't, like, I don't know, actually peel your skin off. Because there's actually some hot springs are pretty acidic. I think like a pH of, I want to say 3 or 4, and that's on the outs. When I hear a pH that low, it's like, do I really want to bathe in this? Am I gonna melt? And a lot of people have bathed in it and they're fine, but it's like I'm kind of hesitant to be in there for any longer than maybe like 5 minutes, if even 5 minutes. Because I mean, also a lot of times when you dip into the hot springs, it just feels nice to have hot water, like just be neck deep in hot water, in general. But yeah, so onsen is that, and then ryokan, which is we're gonna be looking at quite a bit here. A ryokan is a traditional Japanese, let's just do JP in traditional Japanese inn. Now, those are going to be our two main definitions for today, and then I know it's a little bit hard to see. Uh, and typically with ryokan, when you go to reserve them, they will serve both breakfast and dinner. Though I think there are some options where you can get like a half board or something, so it's either going to be dinner only, breakfast only, and depending on the place, you might have a little bit of a leeway with the menu. But in general, it's a set menu with a set number of courses, and typically the ingredients are going to be whatever is available in the local area, and they present it as best as they can for the people who stay, the guests that stay in their place. Now, these are gonna be probably pretty expensive. They generally are pretty expensive. They can range anywhere from, I'm not, yen amounts I'm not going to list because it kind of varies, and also I haven't checked the yen amounts, but I've seen anywhere up to 60,000 yen, 60,000 plus yen for two people for one night. So that averages about 300, no, not 300, about 30,000 yen per person per night. So let's say about anywhere. I'm not sure what's our exchange rate right now. Let's check the exchange rate really quick. JPY to USD. So $1 is about 133 yen. So for, let's just round it down to 60,000. 60,000 is about $448 for two people. So that's 200, what do you cost? About almost 250 bucks. No, almost $225 per person for one night. And typically when you go to a ryokan, most people don't stay there for longer than one night anyway. It's just kind of like a getaway. It's a splurge, definitely a splurge, but it's a nice splurge, especially let's say at the end of your trip to in while you're at the end of your trip while you're in Japan. Let's say you've been walking around everywhere. You've gone to Tokyo, you've gone to Osaka, you've gone to Kyoto, you've gone anywhere, everywhere. You may have hiked a little bit. Let's just say you may have hiked a little bit, and you are probably 3 or 4 days left in your trip. And if you have a little bit of extra money, I would highly suggest going to a ryokan. And what do you call it? I would highly suggest going to a ryokan and just taking a dip for one night. Get really pampered with the food, get really pampered with the bath, and just relax. Just relax. That's basically a 1 day splurge, but it's a very worth it 1 day splurge. Japan Guide made Kiryu Kazuma. How old is Kiryu Kazuma these days? What is he, like 50, 60 or something? I feel like he's around that age. Where is he? Is he still, would he still be in Kamurocho? I don't even know. I don't even know. But yeah, in general, this is kind of like a treat for yourself. And in general also for I think most people in Japan, when like most Japanese people go into ryokan, it's a 1 day thing anyway. Because if you do more than 1 day, it's like I said, it's expensive enough for 1 day. If you do 2 days, it's way expensive. I don't know if anyone typically goes to a ryokan for more than 1 day anyway. It's just too expensive to do for any consecutive days. If you want to, like, let's just say you're in an area with a really nice ryokan, but also other tourist destinations, I guess typically what you could do is find a regular hotel for your explorations and stuff, and then once you're ready to finish your trip in that area, then you do the ryokan for 1 day and then go on your way. At least that near the end of your trip kind of thing. But yeah, and then there's also like there's also famous places in well, there's famous hot springs in Japan that are known for their onsen, known for their hot springs, and these places tend to get booked really, really, maybe not quickly, Not quickly, because I mean, they're like I said, they're kind of expensive. But if it's especially popular place and it's like peak season, you may have to book anywhere from 1 month to 6 months. There are ryokans that allow you to book up to 6 months ahead. Sometimes longer, depending on the website. But I think generally it's like I want to say 3 months ahead is normal for booking one. But if you can book further out, and especially if it's a place that gets booked out quite easily, there are really some really popular ones that are hard to get into. Definitely look into that and figure out how to do that. Not all the ryokans have a website, which is unfortunate. But that's just kind of how it is. A lot of the ryokans, especially the really old ones, um, are telephone only within Japan. So you would have to find someone to reserve for you and get the date and all that stuff. I don't know if those are like really old ones, more traditional ones, or exclusive ones. There are probably some exclusive ones, but yeah, each one's different. But there's a few places, at least for tourists coming from the outside of Japan, that have access to that are still really nice. Really nice. The first time I went to a ryokan hot spring, um, I didn't really know much of anything, to be honest, like what to look for and stuff. I just looked at their menu, saw a few pictures, and saw the price, and it was the cheapest one that seemed reasonable at the time that I could afford, and I booked it. And um, overall, that first experience was a 50-50 experience. I say 50% was good, like super good. The dinner was super good. It was like a 7 course meal. Like, holy crap, I think that's the most I've ever eaten. And it took like over 2 hours just to eat through everything. Okay. Um, and it's like, yeah, imagine like eating an appetizer and then another appetizer and then your main meal and then smaller dishes in between, and then finally ending the dessert was like a single slice of really really nice peach, but it was very very welcome at the end. That is your dessert, a very nice peach, at least from this one place. Not everyone's gonna be doing the same thing. um so that was good. The food was good. The place was, I think, like 200 years old or something. I want to say it's like at least 200 years old. And I have pictures. We can scroll through pictures really quick. Where are those pictures? Oh, okay. So I think I already have it set. So the place I stayed at. Let's see if it shows up. Will it show up? Or do I need to make it show up? Oh, it's hidden. All right, let's put the text down up here really quick. So this is the first place I went to. Um, and overall, for a first time experience, it was pretty good. Fukuzumiro. This is in Hakone. Not too far from the train station. I think I want to say it's like maybe a 5-10 minute drive from the train station, and you can easily walk from the train station to here. But they do have like a shuttle service that takes you from the train station to this place. Um, and as you can see from the inside, it's quaint. It's quaint. It's pretty. The wood looks pretty nice for how old it is. I think these cubby holes are for shoes. Um, so in general, a lot of these places are very traditional. You kind of treat it like a home. When you go into the front, there may or may not be a place to put your shoes. It depends on the area and depends on the establishment. But here you can probably see. Oh, you don't see it. You don't see it. I think I may have cropped it. Let me see if I can uncrop it. But over here to the side, over here to the left side, you can see some slippers there, and those are slippers for the guests. Um, Once you actually get to the wood part, you're expected to use those slippers to go around everywhere in this place. And when you go out, you leave the slippers there, put your shoes in these cubby holes. At least that's how we went for this place in particular. Not like I said, not everything's gonna be like that. But the dinner, okay. So dinner is served in your room for this particular place. And let's see, yeah. So it's like tatami mats everywhere. Tatami, very very nice to just have your bare feet on. Uh, this was a mini rock garden on top of one of the roofs. I don't know what they were trying to do here, but I guess they just needed a little decoration on the roof. Not the most impressive thing you will ever see. But the dinner, though, the dinner was pretty impressive. I think this is the first course. All right. Yeah, this was the first course. And a lot of times, like I said, it's going to be like whatever ingredients are in the local area, and then they present it to you, and you eat through it, basically. Some places, at least one place I went to, they give you everything at once, and that's it. This one, though, had multiple multiple rounds of food. So the best part about this place was their food. The onsen, which I don't have any pictures of, was tiny. The actual baths were absolutely tiny, barely enough to fit like 2 or 3 people, and it was like the most awkward first bath in a onsen I've ever had. Uh, Granted, I kind of paid like a fairly cheaper price than normal for this. So I think when you go for like a ryokan experience, it's definitely you get what you pay for, and a lot of research needs to be done. But yeah, let's just take a look at the food really quick. They'll typically serve a lot of seafood, so but like I said, just check the menu for the places you go to, and you'll be able to get an idea what it looks like. But this is a pretty pretty nice, pretty nice, and the beef was pretty good. Lots of little cuts of seafood. This was the second course, by the way. It looks, I mean, like the individual portions look small, but when you eat all of it, holy crap, you get so full. So full. But second course is like noodles. I think that's some tofu and fish and some veggies in the bowl. And then, of course, there's the broiled fish up there. I'm not sure if it's broiled or not, but it's not. Okay, maybe it's a little bit fried. So maybe a little bit fried. But yeah, this is pretty significant. And then the third course. The third course. I'm just glad the portions were small, but holy crap, there was a lot of stuff. They really wanted to fill you up quite well. And this was dessert. I think I might have missed some stuff in the middle, but this was dessert. 3 slices of peaches. Not 1, 3. But that's just dinner. That's just dinner. There's also breakfast. There's also breakfast. And breakfast is just 1 course, thankfully. But it's still, if you're not a breakfast person, you probably could opt out before you, what do you call this? Before you do the reservation, seeing if you can do a half board, no breakfast or something like that. But I do recommend having the breakfast if you're up for it. And it's pretty not heavy, but there's still a decent amount, at least for this particular place. But that was my first ryokan experience, first ryokan onsen experience, which is nice. That was without for breakfast. Yeah, for breakfast. For breakfast, this is 1 course. Yes. So you see 2 fish over here, but that was for the other person that was traveling with me at the time. So you get 1 fish from this place, little slice, a little thing of tamagoyaki, some tofu, some fresh tofu, and I think this is the dipping sauce, the soy sauce with the ginger and stuff. So you would get the tofu and dip it well, I think you fish the tofu out from the dish, put in the white one, and then you can put the soy sauce bits. And this wire, this metal wire thing, is what you fish the tofu out with. And I think it was pretty soft now that I remember it. But it's been a while. Anyway, yeah, and then there's like little beans, some pickled veggies. Not a whole lot, but you know, it's still quite a bit. The miso soup. It's not breakfast without miso soup. Let's just say that much. Also, this I guess I didn't. It's not really clear in the picture, but this big round red tub thing up here, that's the rice. So you do have a little bowl for rice on the side, which it's not showing in the picture. I just cropped the white parts on the photo, but there you go. Red bowl for the rice. So you have rice on top of that. And this is some white bait. I think there's like little white, little tiny fishies. So get a decent amount of protein from this. Not a whole lot of carbs, which is nice for breakfast. But the miso soup was also pretty good. But overall, menu, good for this place. So that was the first onsen experience, okay? That was the first onsen experience. The ryokan experience. The second ryokan experience only had one course. Only had one course, but it was a pretty decent course. It's a lot smaller. It's more veggies here. I think for this one, because they were kind of like pretty far from anywhere, they didn't really have much they could do. So it's also very vegetarian. I think we have a little bit of crab cakes, crab rolls over here, and some peaches. What was the main dish here? This meal wasn't as good as the first one, but I just remember there being a lot of veggies. Also, depending on the place, you will probably eat in your room. At least the first one did, or there could be a dining hall. In this case, it was a dining hall. So there were a bunch of people on other tables. They had their own meals and stuff. In the first place, it was like you were in your room, and there was your caretaker basically came in and served you for the duration of the stay, basically the duration of your stay, including the mealtime. Okay, so this is the full course. I'm not sure why I didn't get the picture here, but here they have the fish. I think there's a specific type of fish, a saba fish. I'm not entirely sure, but they have a particular fish that they like to grill up there, and that's what this is on the stick. Forgot what was in the pot. I don't think I got a picture of that. There's also some tempura. Not sure where the tempura came from, but that was a very nice veggie tempura with one shrimp. Oop. Did not mean to do that. Was that it? Okay, so that was it for dinner. And this was breakfast on the other place. Actually, no. Did I put breakfast in here? Wait, I think this was breakfast. Did I get dinner? I don't even remember anymore. I may have gotten just breakfast and not dinner. Because usually the tofu is a breakfast menu, and all these veggies look like breakfast menus too. Oh well, I may not have gotten that picture, but yeah. So a lot of the times when you pick these ryokans out, you really want to look at their menu. You want to look at their baths. That's another thing to look for. So in the second place, I was able to actually manage to get some pictures of their baths, and the baths are really nice. Now, I haven't been to an outdoor bath before this, so I specifically looked for a place that had an outdoor bath, and this was their outdoor bath, on the men's side anyway. So most of the times you'll have women's side and a men's side, and in other places there's going to be a mixed bath one, a mixed gender bath. However, for the mixed gender bath, for anyone getting any funny ideas in the mixed gender bath, just know most people Most people are under the age of 30 are not going to be in that mixed gender bath. It's usually the old people. So just be aware. Just be aware. Go in there at your own at your own, I don't want to say risk, but go there at your own discretion. I haven't been in the mixed gender bath because I do not want to see old people naked. So that's on you if you want to do it, and if you find a place that you can do it at. So just FYI. But the outdoor bath is really nice, especially if it's really cool outside. And generally, if you find an onsen area in the up in the mountains, especially during the fall or maybe at the tail end of summer when it's cooler out, the feel for on the warm water and the cool air, really nice. Also, as you can see here, the water's a little bit milky looking, right? So really, after a certain depth, you can't really see much of anything. You can see like the seats a little bit, but past that, you don't. There wasn't anyone. Generally, you're not supposed to be taking pictures around the onsen, but there was no one around, so it's like I took as many pictures as I could. Took as many pictures as I could. And let's see. I think what was it? So this is still the outdoor bath. Where's the particular picture I want to show? Oh. So they do have like these walls for people, you know, privacy walls and stuff like that. And for the most part, I don't think anyone can see into it. So don't worry about like bathing naked outside. Some places though will also have these instructional things that tell you how to bathe properly. Typically, you just don't go into the water. There's actually like a small showering station right before the water, and you don't have to like get super clean. But if you haven't taken a bath that day or you've been out and about, excuse me, I just have to cough a little bit. But if you've been out and about and a little bit sweaty, definitely wash yourself a little bit before you go into the water. That's just part of the routine. No horseplay in the bath itself. That's kind of rude to other people in there, especially if it's strangers, you know. Don't bring your towel into the bath. I think that's another thing. You need that, first of all, you need that towel to dry yourself after you're done, and I think they just don't want any contaminants in the bath or something. Maybe no loud noises, yada yada yada. Yeah, just basically try to just wash yourself, clean yourself really quick before you go into the bath. You just don't go into the bath directly. That's the main thing with that. But as far as the onsen waters, right? So so for this particular place, I think this is their hot spring source. So it's actually right outside, and you can see all the steam coming out off of it. So it's super hot. It's actually hot enough to be able to like cook eggs and stuff. And they have actually for this particular place, they sell the eggs cooked in the hot spring water, and the eggs, the outside of the eggs turn black because of the, I think, I'm not sure if it's a big because of the stuff in the water. I think it's mainly because of the stuff in the water. Horseplay sounds like something only children would do. I doubt I doubt they're allowed in. No, children are allowed in. Children are allowed in. Everyone is allowed in as long as, you know, as long as you're you're in the proper in the correct bath and stuff like that. But no, children are allowed in. And if you're a young enough kid, and you know, let's say you only have mom or you only have dad in there, and let's say you're a little girl and you only have dad there with you, you can the girl can actually come with you. I think they need to be supervised. That's why they have to come with you into the bath and stuff like that. Likewise, if you're a little boy and only mom is there, you can go to mom in the women's side of the bath. That's okay, I think. And it'll be on the parents at that point to, you know, remind them don't no horseplay and stuff like that. But yeah, Um, don't think no, I have seen kids in the bath before. I have seen kids in the bath before, not in the onsen. So the non onsen version, the non hot springs version of an onsen would be a sento, I think, and that's just regular hot water. And you might be able to find that actually in some hotels. Some regular hotels will actually have like a communal bathing area, kind of like a hot spring, but it's not hot spring water, it's just hot water. But the style is the same. You have the small shower area, and then you have the bathing area. And in those places, you can actually stay for longer because they're not as expensive, right? And you don't get the full breakfast, you don't get the full dinner, but you get the bathing part, and that's pretty nice. There's a few. I think there's one main chain in Japan that does it. Dormy Inn, I think, is their name. Dormy Inn is the main chain that does it. So if you're looking for that kind of experience but don't have the money to do a ryokan kind of thing, uh, that's definitely one place to look at. I know there's one other hotel in there's one hotel that I went to in Tokyo that does that. There's also another hotel that, not quite in Kyoto, but there's one right outside Kyoto, but there's a Dormy Inn in Kyoto. So just look around. Probably we'll try to look for certain ones in the searches for that. But yeah, so here's the hot springs water. They pump the water from here into the baths, so it gets mixed in with the regular water, and that's kind of what they look like, at least for this particular place. Let me see, is there anything else here? The complex though is really nice. So you can see all the buildings. There's a meeting spot for the people outside just to hang out. As far as anything else around here, that I don't. Depending on the place, there might be other shops, there might be other places to check out. But this particular place, Kuroyu, is so remote that there's really not much of anything else except for other hot springs are kind of like 5 miles apart. It's like very, very deep into the mountains. You have to be the way we got here is we went from the train station in what's train station was that? I forgot what town we were in. But from the train station we took a bus. From that bus, I think it was like a 1.5 hour bus ride to Newto Onsen, which is where this ryokan is. And in Newto Onsen, we had to find the shuttle that would take us to this particular place, and that's how we got here. You can drive if you want to, if you have like what do you call it? If you have the what do you call it? The license and the car rental, you can do that. But you know, it's a free service for the shuttle, and the bus you just have to pay for the bus, which is not a big deal. But yeah, it's kind of far. It's kind of far. Worth the trip though. I wanted to pick this particular place because I need some water. I picked this particular place because it was like I think in I was hoping fall season, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of fall leaves, a little bit of turning orange, but I think we got there too early, so we didn't get quite the fall leaves. There was a few, just not much, and it was an outdoor bath. Oh, here's the eggs I was talking about for this particular place. So you can see they were boiling some eggs in the hot springs water, and it turned black. For the outside turns black because of that. I think they served us one of these eggs in dinner. I want to say, excuse me. I think they served us one of these eggs in dinner, but I don't quite remember. But it's an interesting marketing thing for them specifically. Does the egg taste any different? I don't know. I can't remember. I do know they sell it. They sell it in case you want more of it. So there is that. Uh, let's see. What else am I looking for? Okay, so as far as so we looked at a couple of ryokans and their onsen. Not you might be able to find onsen also in places that are not ryokans. Here's one in particular. Here's one in particular. So this is the middle of nowhere. This was a solo trip for me. Ozore-san, and let me just show you where Ozore-san is on the map really quick, because it's literally in the middle of freaking nowhere. Okay, where is the Google Maps? Oh, here's the Google Maps. Osore, 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 Osore-san. Mount Osore, Ohata, Mutsu, Aomori. So this doesn't really show you a very good location, but just say this is Osori over here. And where the heck is this? All the way up here, way far from Tokyo. I think if you try to go to Tokyo from there via train, Tokyo, Japan, via train, it's 10 hours by car apparently. 10 hours by car, and there's no direct train route to it. You basically have to go to uh, a town. Excuse me, a town called Mutsu. No, not Mutsu. Somewhere around here, Shimokita, somewhere around here, and then you have to take a bus, and you'll get here eventually in like 2 or 3 hours. You'll get here eventually in 2 or 3 hours. It's a nice place if you'd like to check out some really actually nice scenery, but it is quite a ways out. So that is more than a day trip. So they do have places you can stay in this monastery. I think it's a Buddhist shrine, I want to say. So there's a place around this Buddhist shrine that you can stay overnight if you want to do that. You can also do a day trip, but it's gonna be a very long day for you. If you cook eggs there, is it because it's super hot, or you get used to the temperature, or was it done over the course of minutes? Uh, I don't think it's like super hot, but you know, if you boil eggs in super hot water, they eventually get hard boiled, right? I don't think it's like that. It's not like the water was boiling, you know? It's not like the water was boiling. It's more like it was hot enough that it was steaming, but not actually boiling, if that kind of makes sense. If you put eggs in boiling water for like say more than 7 minutes, you get hard boiled egg. But when you actually eat these eggs, though, they're not hard boiled. They're not exactly soft boiled either. They're kind of like just middle boiled, if that makes any sense. They're kind of middle boiled, like medium boiled. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but that's the best way I can describe it. I don't know how long it takes them to do it either, because I'm pretty sure someone has to check on it every once in a while, and I didn't catch the person that was in charge of cooking the eggs in the water. But yeah. Anyway, so for Zore-san, you kind of saw how far out in the middle of nowhere it is, and you either drive here or take a bus. I had no driver's license for this place, so I had to take a bus. And as you can see, it's kind of just mountains everywhere, and this giant Buddhist temple in the middle of nowhere is just here. Now, why would they build a Buddhist temple out in the middle of nowhere? Because this place apparently looks closest to what Buddhist hell looks like. Now, that sounds kind of bad. Excuse me. That sounds kind of bad, but it's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty nice. Actually, pretty nice. You got the mountains everywhere, and then these are the temple compounds. And the part that actually looks like Buddhist hell. Let me show you really quick. If I can find it. Maybe I actually need to look at my pictures for this one. Is these places. These places. The landscape is like rocky, hilly, and I guess that's kind of what Buddhist hell looks like. Yeah, all these rocks, apparently. And it's just a nice place to visit. I know it doesn't look like much, but the landscape when you actually are there is pretty nice. And they have all these statues. Just kind of, it's just kind of a serene kind of silence. But all the way out here, all the way out here, is a hot spring. This place has a hot spring. I didn't realize that there was one here until I actually entered the location, and this was a really nice thing that this was a really nice thing that you can just dip into. If you're just a visitor for the day, it's nice to just dip into this water and just relax a little bit before you have to leave. If you are a guest here, of course, you also have the chance to dip into these waters also. Um, but yeah, excuse me. Um, it's just some random places like that. But this definitely is a hot spring because there's like, you see this pipe over here. This is, I think, the regular water, and then this other pipe over here is the hot spring water. So you can add a little bit more regular water to cool it down a little bit, or not, or not, and it kind of balances itself out. Now you might be wondering, how do they actually clean the water? How's the water drain? How it's not overflow? There's actually a drain at the bottom. There's kind of like a drain at the bottom. Think of it like a pool drain, where all the like the contaminants, all the, like, let's say you have really long hair. If you got really long hair, the long hair goes down to the pool drain and stuff like that. It's kind of discreet. It's not like obvious like a regular pool drain, but it is there. It is there. That's kind of nice. Anyway, those are just examples really quick of what the onsen look like. What I need to get to for this stream. Oh wow, it's been almost an hour now. What I need to get to in this stream is actually trying to figure out how to pick places that that you might want to try. So, like I said, in different parts of Japan, some onsen areas are going to be more famous than others. The more famous ones, I think, is Hakone Onsen. This is near Mount Fuji. And so if you're going to Hakone Onsen, Mount Fuji, there's a bunch of hiking trails around there. There's a bunch of outdoorsy stuff that you can also do. Kusatsu Onsen, where is this one at? I don't think I've been to Kusatsu Onsen before. This is apparently one of the higher rated ones. This is in... So some of the baths you can see in this site, Japan Guide, what some of the baths look like in different places. So there are baths for onsen towns. So there are specific onsen towns built around the hot springs. And for those onsen towns, some of them are going to have like public baths that you can go into. You just pay a fee to get in, go into the public bath, dip into the water, and there are a lot of people that do onsen hopping, kind of like bar hopping, but for onsen. And uh, yeah, you can do that if you're in a specific town that's easy to do it in. There's some places that you can do it easily, like you can just walk around in a bathrobe basically, and well, bathrobe and some underwear hopefully, and like just walk around. You can get an onsen pass, kind of like a train pass or a bus pass, and use it in different onsen to get in because you already paid for the pass. So that's kind of nice. Haven't tried that yet, but I want to one of these days. So you can do that. You can kind of see also the separate entrances, male, female, and then such. Where is this one? Kusatsu Onsen is near. Where is Kusatsu Onsen? This is near Gunma. Gunma, where's Gunma? Gunma Prefecture is Gunma Prefecture. I do not see you. I think this one's like near Tokyo-ish. There, so here's Tokyo. Saitama's over here. Where's Gunma? Chiba's over here. Chubu, Ibaraki, Tokyo. Oh, Gunma's right over here. In this, so there's Tokyo, then Saitama above it, and then above Saitama is Gunma. Honestly, I don't know anything about Gunma. I don't know anything about Gunma. I think it's mainly a maybe like a bunch of ski resorts and stuff up there, as well as the onsen stuff. Let me see. What's this look like? Yeah, it's main. I think they're mainly known for their onsen, actually. Yep, they're mainly known for their onsen. They have a few and a national park, and a national park. That's supposed to be pretty good for just walking, for a nice hike. So there's the Kusatsu. The ones I've went to is Hakone. That's where the first one. That's where the first one I went to in. And Hakone Onsen. Hakone is like onsen town. There's a bunch of shops around there. I think I have pictures of that too. Let's see. So there's a bunch of little shops that you can go to. A lot of souvenir shops. I think some restaurants. I didn't go to any of the restaurants because holy crap. I was ready for the onsen, the ryokan meal, and that was pretty nice. But if you were so inclined to go into the restaurants and you had time to do that, you could do that. I guess apparently Ava is also based in Hakone. At least it was the location is Hakone. I've never watched Ava, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, this is what the main Hakone town area looks like. There's right outside the train station. You can see there's a bunch of cars waiting to take you to where you need to go to. So this is where you would go get picked up to go to your hotel, ryokan, stuff like that. There is a hotel right next to the train station. It's a giant hotel that don't think I've been into before. But it's a pretty busy place. It's a pretty busy place. Yeah, it's right over here. And let's see. You could also do a bunch of hiking stuff, but that's like outside. Rickshaw. I'd never done the rickshaw before. But yeah, they also have guides on like what you can do. Apparently there's some golfing here. There's a shrine. More golfing. Apparently golfing's a thing. Lots of hiking trails. But a lot of places you can go to in the Hakone area. In Nyuto Onsen, which is in Tohoku. So this Nyuto Onsen has like one of the best onsens in Japan, apparently. I went to one of those places there. I went to Kuroyu, this one. Kuroyu. It's a slightly modern, I guess. It's not modern. So ryokans come in two flavors. Mostly two flavors. You have the really traditional one that kind of looks like it's like wood and it came out of the 1800s or something like that. And then you have the really modern ones that look sleek and clean, and we'll try to check out a few of those before we look at other things. But yeah, Kuryu is kind of rustic. It's definitely on the not super old. I think it's been modernized at least once or twice from the looks of it. Fukumizu, the first one we went to, barely looks like it was modernized, and the floors are squeaky. The floors were super squeaky because of all the wood stuff over there. But there's a lot of neat ones that you can go to. But yeah, there's a lot of choices. This website, Japan Guide, has a lot of good starter ideas of where you would want to go to. But sometimes this one doesn't have all the all the places that you can go to. At least it gives you on specific onsen towns, but not specific hotels that you can go into. Usually not. Usually not. There's a couple of ways you can do that though. There's a couple of ways you can find uh, ryokans to stay in. Let's uh, let's start here. My favorite website. My favorite website for checking out anything and everything, booking.com. Which is not listed on top because that's where the other information is. Booking.com. Let's just say let's go to Hakone. Okay, let's just say we're going to Hakone. And let's just say 3 months from now. 3 months from now. What's it? What's gonna be 3 months? May, June, July. July 27 to 28. 2 adults. Let's say 2 adults. Let's say you're going with someone. It's not that you can't go to an onsen ryokan solo. You can. You can. But it's usually better to experience with someone else. So bring someone with you. If you do a one-person thing, we can definitely check that. Like I said, though, depending on what time of year you go to and where the location is, you're probably not going to find things very easily. And for booking.com, you can actually filter it out with ryokans. They have a ryokan filter here. They also have one specifically for hot springs bath. So if you can check both of those, then you can get the selections that are only hot springs bath and ryokans. Now some of them are gonna look fairly modern. Like this one looks pretty modern. And I suspect this is not a ryokan. This is probably an actual hotel. It's probably an actual hotel with an outdoor. Is this a pool? Is that an outdoor pool? Wait, what? It's an outdoor pool with a couch in the middle of the pool? Holy crap, how fancy is this? How much is this place? How much is this place? $437 for 2 people for one night. So it's priced the same as a ryokan, but it's also pretty nice. I'm guessing this is the indoor bath, if not an indoor pool. I'm not exactly sure what the setup here is. It looks like a pool, but it might be a bath. I'm not sure. Probably a bath, considering it's Hakone. But this is a super modern, looks like a regular hotel in the inside. The pool, this has to be a pool on the outside. So I think this is actually a pool. And that might just not be onsen-ish. But, you know, this is a good place to look for pictures and stuff to get ideas of what you could expect. Definitely look at the reviews, but most of the reviews are fairly good, or at least fairly accurate. Looks like they got a buffet of some sort. Really nice. Okay, so you do get an onsen. You get a private bath over here. So this might be the onsen water mixed in already, and then the water comes out of the spout. I've never had a private bath like that before, though. Or this might just be a regular bath. I'm not entirely sure. Because there's a shower and there's the bath. But it looks like an old-timey bath that that onsen water might come out of. But it could just be a regular bath, to be honest. It's a little difficult to tell, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a regular bath. Could be onsen bath. That's a little hard to say, but that's a super modern one. Let's see if we can find... Okay, here's the one I went to. Here's the one I went to, the Fukuzumiro. Let's compare the pictures I had and compare the pictures that they show. So this is the front. This is very accurate. This is the waiting room up front. If not the waiting room, I think this is like one of the other rooms that have like a separate meditation room, I guess you want to call it. This looks fairly accurate. Yep, that's basically... I mean, the pictures are all accurate, but it looks nicer than what I had from years ago. Let's see. There's the outside. Don't really get to see that. There's also from the outside. You don't really get to see that either. This is a waterfall area, I guess, near the place, which I did get to see. They do. Okay, so here is the bath. Here is the bath. For the onsen. Now, I don't know how big that looks like to you, and I didn't realize. I thought this was gonna be like a private bath attached to one of the rooms at the time, but it's not. This is the public bath, and it's absolutely tiny, and 2 people, maybe 3 people can fit in there. That is small. This is a private bath. This is a private bath, but I think it was taken most of the time, so you can't really use it. Um, so it's like I didn't realize that at first when I booked it. So it's like, yeah, this experience could have gone a lot better if I just knew what I was looking at. But the food though, the food's pretty spot on. Here you can see they have eel unagi for one of their meals. I guess this is from a different time of year because we didn't get this particular menu. Otherwise, fairly accurate. So they have an unagi menu, but on this hot pot bowl, we got a beef. It was beef that we got for this one, so it was more like a sukiyaki, which was nice, which was really nice. But yeah, basically things you want to look at when you're trying to pick a ryokan out. How are the baths look like? How does the food look like? Do you want the place to be super modern? Do you want it to be super traditional? Those are things to think about. And the price. Look at the price. Look at the price. Let's go back to Fukumizu really quick. So, this was not the price that I paid at the time. I think the price I paid at the time was maybe just under 300 bucks for 2 people. But now it's gone up to 400 something. So yeah, just keep an eye on the price here. It's gonna be around this much. What you have to keep in mind when you're booking these places is gonna be expensive. Expect to pay anywhere between $150 to 200 plus per person. Okay, 150 to 200 plus per person for one night. So if it's 2 people, you're looking anywhere from 300 typically. 300 to 400 plus. A more fancy one is gonna go up, maybe up to 6. I think I've seen some at 8, but those are like super fancy, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that, but maybe one of these days. You can find one on the lower end around 200 plus for 2 people, which is still pretty decent. If all the if you can make sense of all the pictures and reviews and stuff like that. Always look at the reviews, especially from this place. So this is a good place to first check it out. Hot tub to chill with your friend. I wonder how often it gets cleaned. It gets cleaned every day. It gets cleaned every day. They have a daily cleaning schedule for the bath. So yeah, no worries about that. No worries there. Let's see. Let's check this one out. Gorakadan. Oh wait, I should have this in a separate. No, I do have it in a separate thing. Okay, Gorakadan. Let's look at this one because this looks interesting. Let's see. How does the baths look like? So the halls look pretty neat. This looks like fairly modern place. This looks like a private bath for a room. This is kind of what I expected when I saw Fukumizu. So it's pretty secluded, so don't worry about getting peeked on. It usually is not an issue anyway. But yeah, some rooms will have a private bath, and that's pretty nice. Food. Just make sure the food looks good, I guess. You can do a lot with presentation. And apparently they have a pool. This one has a pool. How big is... Oh, this looks like an actual hotel. Oh, it's a hotel. It's a very modern one. So you have the private bath and then you have the pool. There's no communal bath, it seems. This is a pool. Is it that pool? It's not that pool. Hey, Regus, welcome. How would you even get to that pool anyway? Don't you have to reserve that? Isn't that like isn't that for like reservation only for that pool? And usually multiple people reserve it. It's funny because I think I've seen a picture of that pool with like multiple photo shoots happening at one time. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. But yeah, this is a super modern one that you can go to apparently. How much does this cost? How much does this cost? 900! Wow! For 2 people? Okay, here's the reason why I say you don't want to go alone. Because even though you go alone, it's still gonna be like in the upper mid range for the price. Like this one has $700 for 1 person, but if you go with 2 people, it's only 936. So it goes from $700 per person to just under $500 per person, but it's still kind of expensive. That it's funny. They only show like 1 dish. They only show 1 dish, but they didn't show. Wait, there's something else going on up here. Oh, that's the map. Let me turn off the map really quick. We don't need that right now. They only show like a couple of dishes, a couple of fancy dishes, but not a whole meal set. Yeah, it's pricey. Let's refine our search a little bit to something a little bit more affordable. Is there a way to do this? Okay. Typically, when I go to booking.com, we'll check other places too, but typically when I go to booking.com, I want at least an 8+ on the review. 8+ is super good. When you start going to the 7+, it's not bad, but you start compromising at 7+. 8+ is still pretty good regardless for booking. Okay, this is just booking mainly. Also, disclaimer up front. When you go to booking, not all the ryokans will be in booking. Not all the hotels, not all the ryokans, not all the accommodations will be in booking. So there's ways to find out which ones are and which ones aren't, but you have to basically do a Google search. You do the Google search and we'll try to do a quick Google search on specific ones and see if we can find them in booking. If you can't find them in booking, we'll try a different site. There's 2 main places I look at, which is Booking and Japanican. If you can't find it in either of those, you generally want to check the main website if they have one. And if they don't have one, I don't know. You probably can't do it normally. Yeah. So we got 8+, we got ryokan, we got hot springs. Those are essential for our search here. 8. Let's see. What am I looking at? Oh, where's the price range? We need to change the price range a little bit. Price range. Set your own budget. So if we're doing 2 people, let's do. Let's limit it to $350 a night. It's still gonna be probably expensive for some people, but let's just limit to that. Okay. Mount View Hakone 8.6. $192 for 2 people, but let's see what kind of place this is. I think we saw this in a search earlier, but I thought it was a regular hotel, but let's just check. Already looks promising from the gallery. Okay, let's start from the front. So it looks like a regular hotel. It doesn't look like any old rustic Japanese inn that you might expect, which is also okay. But it also depends on what you're looking for, right? What kind of atmosphere are you looking for? Are you looking for super modern? Are you looking for somewhat modern? Are you looking for super rustic? It depends on what you want to look for. If you don't mind, then just pick whatever looks good. That's also okay. The spread looks pretty good. Yep. Looks pretty promising. I'll tell you this one secret. The 2 main things I look for when I pick a ryokan out is the food and the baths. What do the baths look like? Do they have an outdoor bath? Not essential, but I would like it to have an outdoor bath. And also, what does the food look like? It seems like we have some decent cuts of fish, the usual sweet shrimp, very nicely plated. Remember, presentation, while it might look nice, is kind of distracting sometimes. So look at the actual dishes and see what they have. That's more helpful than looking at the presentation. Presentation is nice to look at, but it's a little distracting. So try to get away from the distraction. That's a personal tip. Because it might look pretty, but if the selection looks kind of mid, it might actually just be mid, you know? And we're talking $192 here. For two people, we're talking $192. And it looks like this might be pork. I don't usually see pork in a ryokan hot pot. It's usually beef, at least beef. So maybe that's why it's a little cheaper because of the pork. The bath, on the other hand, this looks pretty nice. That looks pretty nice. Mount View Hakone. Let's scroll down a bit. It looks like they have a gift shop. Some places will have a gift shop, especially if it's a hotel kind of setup. They will have a gift shop. But the bath itself looks pretty nice. Okay, so I said no towels in the bath, but you know, for the picture you kind of have to. So just FYI. Nice waiting room. Reception looks nice. So here is probably breakfast. I want to say this is probably breakfast. Kind of looks like a breakfast spread. This is most likely a breakfast spread. Yep, it's pretty much a modern ryokan experience, but holy crap, the price is super cheap. I think that's might be dinner. They have gift shops. Why is this place so cheap? Have you ever bought anything from the gift shops? Not from a ryokan, because most of the ryokans I've been... No. Yeah. Well, I've only been to 2 ryokan. So, the first one I went to did not have a gift shop, so I couldn't buy anything there. The second one I went to, I did buy something there. I bought an acrylic keychain, and I had to eventually... Did I still have the acrylic keychain? I don't know if I still have the acrylic keychain, but I had to like store it away because, and this is the reason why I don't like acrylic keychains to begin with, or acrylic anything, is because you know the paint on the acrylic is like on one side of the acrylic, right? And since it was a keychain, I hung it on my bag, and I guess it got knocked around so much that the paint on the side that had the paint rubbed off, and like only half of the image was there by the time I saw it again. And yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't a good experience for acrylic for me. So I don't know if that's typically how acrylic stuff are, like acrylic stands, acrylic keychains. It's a reason why I don't like acrylic. I don't buy acrylic goods because of that experience, is because the paint just eventually will rub off one way or another. Gotta step out of an early dinner, but I'll check the VOD later. Take care, man. All right, thanks for dropping by, Regress. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so for this place, you can get some sake like directly. That's actually pretty reasonable. What? This might be some local sake. 3,000 yen for one bottle. It's not the super expensive stuff. This is like maybe local mid stuff. I got beers also. Nothing super expensive here. Why is it not super expensive? It is an 8.6 on the reviews. And there's a decent amount of reviews, so let's see what they have to say. Definitely come back again. Traditional hotel. I don't know if it's traditional. It looks pretty modern to me. Private onsen experience was nice. Okay. Yukata, summer kimonos to wear around the hotel. You'll usually get some sort of a yukata whenever you stay in a place that has an onsen. That's kind of standard. Public playground across the street. Okay. There's also a Chinese restaurant within a few minutes. Okay, that's kind of weird to point out. Nothing. Let's see. Nothing much. Easier to access when you drive. Okay, so it's kind of far away. Usually, the more remote a place is, I guess it's going to be a little bit cheaper. Also, if you're not in a super heavily traffic area, it's probably going to be cheaper, so that people will actually go out there. But that's probably not a bad thing. Comfortable and quiet on Hakone Mountaintop. It would be a better experience if food is brought to your bedroom, so it would be nice if there's a convenience store nearby. I don't know about the convenience store bit. If you go to more remote areas, into more remote ryokans, you will definitely not have a convenience store anywhere nearby. Food is brought to your rooms. That would be nice, but every place does it a little bit differently. Like I said, some places have the dining room experience, other places have the serving in your room experience. You just have to look at reviews to figure that out. Also, if there's some YouTube videos about those places, maybe that too. Receptionist is a bit cold, I guess. Some people are. Lack of electrical plugs. Okay, that might be a minus for some people. That might be a minus for some people. So always have some batteries just in case. Let's see. I'm just looking for cons here, because if it's all good, is there any downsides? There's got to be a reasons for the sub tens, right? Breakfast was good. Okay. Big spacious room. Dinner felt a little rushed sometimes. I wonder. Only downside we experienced was too much very good tasty food. Okay, so this was someone's spread. This was someone's spread. They do have the thing in the picture with the, what do you call it? The Mount Fuji soy sauce. Okay. I think in general, it might be a decent experience if you can get there. The reason probably, if I had to guess why it's so cheap other than the location, is because the ingredients are not like super expensive ingredients for the food. But I think everything else is not so bad. So if you're looking for a budget, just be aware that you might have to drive. You might have to drive away, like quite a ways to get there. Actually, where is this location? This is Sengokuhara Onsen. Sengokuhara Onsen. Okay, was Sengokuhara Onsen in this place? Let's check out, because Japan Guide doesn't have all the onsen places. There's definitely some smaller onsen areas that are not listed here. Sengokuhara Pampas Grandfield. Okay, so Sengokuhara Onsen is not shown in Japan Guide. It has the more famous stuff, the more famous ones. So Sengokuhara Onsen. If you can't find some onsens, let's say you're going to a specific area, right? You in the Mount Fuji area, you have, what do you call it? You have Hakone. So Sengokuhara Onsen. So you do a quick Google search, see where Sengokuhara Onsen is, and Sengokuhara Onsen is... What is with up this view? This is not a good view. Okay, I don't like this view. Can I shrink you? Sengokuhara Onsen. Sponsor. Let's just do a non-sponsor. Okay, Sengokuhara's over here. It looks like it's a bit north of the Hakone Open Air Museums, it seems. Owakudani Hakone, Mount Hakone. Where is Hakone Yumato? Oh, okay, I see Hakone Yumato down here. So it's a bit out of the way. I don't think there is a train station that goes near there. It's near a highway, so if you could drive, you could definitely get there easier. There might be a shuttle. If not, there's definitely some... I'm thinking... taxis. Don't know why I couldn't figure out the word. There's definitely some taxis you could take to get there, but it might be a little far. So there's definitely some like lesser known onsens around the more famous ones, but definitely doesn't hurt to like do a little bit of research on that. Sengokuhara Onsen. I guess it's just because it's kind of out of the way. Yeah, Hakone Ropeway. It's north of the Hakone Ropeway. Hakone Inn, Hakone Shrine. Oh, the main Hakone... Yeah, Hakone Yumito is over here. it wasn't south, it was more east. More east towards the coast, and Hakone, no, Sengokuhara is a little bit more inland. So typically, I don't think there's any specific locations I want to like recommend when it comes to looking for onsen. It's basically where are you going to be at in Japan at the time, and are you willing to make the trip out to a specific place? Let's say we're going to Beppu. Let's go to Beppu really quick. No, let's say Fukuoka. No, let's go to Beppu really quick. Beppu. Beppu Onsen, some of the most famous hot springs in Japan. But will they have like ryokans? This is it's a little difficult to actually find sometimes a good place to stay, because in Beppu itself, Beppu might be known for their hot springs, but it's a little difficult to actually find a ryokan, it seems. There are ryokan, but they're more like hotels. Okay, this one looks like it has it. Twin room, 2 people, $215. I don't think it mentions a meal. Okay, breakfast and dinner if you pay for the meal. So this is one place where you can actually select if you want a meal or not, or just breakfast. I would recommend getting dinner for sure. So if you get the meal in this place, oh, that's actually Ross. That's actually Ross fish there. Interesting. That's an interesting presentation, that's for sure. Oh, that's some good wagyu. Very nice wagyu. That's probably gonna go into a hot pot. Nice bed. Looks like there is a private bath for this one. I'm not sure if all rooms get a private bath. Let's see. Bath. Bathtub and shower, but it doesn't actually say a private... Oh, private bathroom, but it doesn't actually say the private bath. Maybe this one does have it. It's a little hard to tell. Okay, I think for this particular place, there's a private bath for each room, which is nice. Yeah, I think this is like a more modernized ryokan for the Beppu area. So Beppu is really known for their hot springs. I don't know what kind of waters they have over there, but they're also known for some hot springs that you can just hot springs to look at. There's some hot spring waters that are too acidic, too much certain minerals, too hot, that no one can ever use to bathe in. So they've resorted to using them as tourist sites, I guess. There's definitely some hot springs that you can just look at and see how nice they are, I guess. But this is definitely very modern. The meal looks pretty good. Lots of sashimi. I'm just amazed about this presentation of the fish. Like, they show the fish after it's been sashimied, and this is just presentation. Some people might be a little bit off-putted by the fresh fish skewered, but yeah, it is a thing. It's part of the presentation. I don't know what this is. It looks like fish, but I can't tell. Oh, this is gonna be good. Some really high quality wagyu. It does not mean it's Kobe beef, okay? Not all wagyu is Kobe beef, but all Kobe beef is wagyu because it's Japanese cattle. But not all Japanese cattle is Kobe beef. Hey, Workshop, welcome. But yeah, so this will be good. I don't know if they have someone cook it for you or you cook it yourself on a hot plate. But it'd be nice because some places will actually cook the beef for you, at least a steak, so you don't screw it up. But this is that's really good. This place looks really nice, actually. This place looks really nice. A little bit too modern for my taste. Okay, so for this place in particular, it looks like they have a dining room set up, I'm not really fond of the dining room setup. I would rather eat in my room, like actually be served in my own room. But you can't really choose that. It's whatever the establishment chooses to serve it for some reason. But this is so they have a dining room set up for their meals here. Okay, seems pretty good. How much is this place in Beppu? It's also a 9.0. This is for breakfast and dinner, $353. That's actually not too bad. That's actually not too bad. And you get the standard twin room with open air tatami. If you're not fond of the futons, then you can definitely look for some ryokans with like modern beds here. These are pretty good. They look pretty good anyway. They do. I think they have tatami here, which is also nice. Tatami is always nice. So the bathroom. So this is the bathroom. At least the other part. So there is a private bath here for each of the rooms, it seems. Semi-open air. Semi-open air because it's partly enclosed. I'm guessing so if it rains, you don't get rained on while you're bathing. If it's fully open air, then you will also be subjected to the rain when you're in the bath, which is probably not a bad experience. Probably not a bad experience, but this is like good for one person, maybe two, if you were very intimate with the other person. This looks pretty nice. I might look into this a bit more. I wish I can favorite things on stream, but I'm just gonna have to write it down for my own reference. Beppu Nago Misuki. Beppu Nagomisuki. All right, so that's a nice one in the Beppu area. Seaside Hotel Mimatsu Oete. What? Oete? Oete. And it's taking forever and a half to load. Okay. Holy crap, this looks nice. This looks nice. Okay. So it looks like I want to say this is an open air bath. This looks like an open air bath because I see the tubs for the shower area on the left over here. But it kind of looks like a pool. Not gonna lie, this bath looks like a pool. So I'm a little skeptical about that. It's also an 8.0, almost a solid 8. So let's see. Normally, if I see 9s on for an overall review, I don't question it. But if I see like anywhere in the 8s, like 8 to 8.5, I look and dig into the reviews a little bit and see if there's anything particular that I don't like. But holy crap, this spread looks pretty good. A lot of seafood if you're into that. If you're not into a lot of seafood, find another ryokan that doesn't serve as much seafood. That's all I can say about that. Sometimes I have different menus. If you go to the hotel itself, let's just pick this one really quick. Seaside Hotel Mimatsu. Let's go to their hotel. See if they have a website that we can check out. So there's two ways to book. Booking.com is the one we use quite a bit. I use quite a bit, and what we're looking through for the most part. But if you want to compare the prices between booking and the actual place, you can always go to their official website. So we'll go to their official website. They have English language apparently and Japanese language. So let's look at their rooms really quick. So their rooms look pretty modern. Pretty modern. Modern Japanese. Bath looks nice. The square bath, oval bath, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just whatever style that the place wants to do. Let's see. They all look fairly similar. This one's kind of nice though. If you get this room, you have the cedar bath. So if you get a bath, if you get a cedar, if you get like a wooden bath, I think those are like the best ones to have, because not only you get the aroma from the onsen water, you also get the aroma from the wood, and the wood and the water working together apparently is really, really nice. I haven't had that chance yet, but I would like to. I would honestly like to. I might have had it in Koryu. I just didn't realize it, but Wooden bath. If you can find a one with a wooden bath, I think that'd be a pretty good experience. Also, so the rooms look pretty nice. Let's see what the food looks like, at least from their website. The website and the not this one. The website and this place probably have the same pictures, but we'll see what they have specifically on their website. Kaiseki meal, mimatu. Kaiseki meal is basically the Japanese course meals, and this is everything I think they serve in that particular meal. What is mimatu? What is specific one? Oh, this is the. Okay, so for this particular hotel, you can pick the style of the room. Japanese Western style. Japanese Western style, which looks like what? So Japanese Western style has the Western beds, the regular beds you're probably used to. Japanese style room is more traditional, so you have a couple of options there. It looks like the Japanese style rooms are cheaper here, 32,000 yen for one person. Wait, what is it? Total one person, one adult. Is this for two people? Okay, this is for two people, so it's priced for two people. So Western rooms are definitely more expensive, apparently, at least for these specific ones. Japanese style, oceanside Japanese style facing. Japanese style room, Japanese style. No Japanese style bus side, what? Well, I mean, it also depends on depending on the view you get. Depending on the view you get, you'll also get different pricing based on that. Okay. So they do break it down by per person and what the total is. And I guess for this particular place, they have different plans. So if you get the deluxe plan, let's just call this the deluxe plan. This is the enjoy local live fish kaiseki meal. This is their deluxe plan, and it's gonna set you back a decent amount, but not too terrible. Compare that to the price of this place. Let's see. How much are they charging for here? So you can't. I don't think you can really pick the meal plans here on booking. So if you are particular about what kind of meal plan you want, and you want to pick a specific one, definitely check to see if they have a website. That's probably the better place to do it if you can book there, and you're sure you want to book there, because sometimes you won't be able to cancel once you booked, regardless of how far out it is. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it doesn't seem like you can pick the meal here. You can pick like the rooms. You can pick number of people, breakfast, dinner for through booking. You can also pick the separate rooms, but it doesn't seem like you can pick any particular meals. If you want to pick specific meals, you have to go to the website for this particular one. So that was the seafood meal. So that's seafood. That's the meal plus the rooms, and they give you all the prices. And I think it might actually be cheaper. It might actually be cheaper. Let's see, 38,880. That's probably the highest. Let's go. I'm gonna check the. The exchange rate really quick, and then we can compare to booking. 38,880 for two people. That is $290 with a Western room for the full fancy seafood meal. If you do the same for booking for two people, maybe we're not gonna get a specific meal, but twin private, that's not what I want. Japanese style mountain, nope, that's not what I want. Japanese style mountain, that's not what I want. But already it's looking more expensive in booking. Well, if you have more people, if you have like if you have two people, it still looks like some of these are a bit more expensive already. So there might be a little bit of upcharging through booking, because there's some cancellation fees. There's also some listing fees. But if you go to the actual website, if they have an actual website you can go to, it might be better to reserve there. Just be mindful that if you try to reserve at the actual website, you may not be able to book as far out as Booking. I think Booking you can reserve for a year out, 6 months to a year out, and you're okay. Japanese style room. It does seem like the Japanese style rooms are still cheaper through Booking than it is in this other place. I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, it's definitely more expensive here. No, there's breakfast dinner included in all of these, but why is it all different prices? It's not very descriptive. Very good breakfast, very good breakfast. Breakfast dinner 310. Non-refundable, but if you do want a refund, they do hike it up just a teeny bit. Breakfast dinner for 2 people is 319 for this particular room, but for some reason there's also a 354 for this same room, but it doesn't really say what goes into it, so it's a little confusing sometimes. So not as descriptive on Booking. There's definitely more limitations here. I'm guessing these different price points are the different meals that you can get, but it doesn't really specify it. You really have to go to the main website to pick specific ones. So the seafood meal is gonna be like $290 for 2 people for one night. That's really good. That's a super good price. Super good. If you go for the Wagyu plan, Oita Kuroge Wagyu. So this is the Oita black cattle. So there's different types of Wagyu from different parts of Japan. This one is specifically from Oita Prefecture, maybe, or Oita City. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a Oita variety of cattle, and it's one of the other variety of cattle that's not just Kobe beef. For the Japanese Western, we're looking at 42,768, and it comes out to just about $320, which is not a huge difference. Not a huge difference. I don't know if we'll get a. Okay, so you still get some seafood with this, it seems. But the addition of the beef makes the price go up just a little bit more, which is honestly not so bad. Honestly, not so bad. Holy crap, just go to the website. I mean, Booking is a good place to like filter out which places you want to look at, and then you see if they have an actual website you can go to. If they do not have an actual website you can go to and make reservations from, you might be stuck with Booking, or there is another option. I'm gonna bookmark this myself. That is this is a good place to check out. Let's see. Where does this go to my Japan trip stuff? Japan trip bookmarks. Japan travel. Yes. Okay. What else do they have here? Official website only. This is another reason why you want to go to the official website, not through a Booking website. Enjoy Oita Wagyu beef with local light fish. All you can drink. Okay, for 2 people or more. All the sake you want. All the sake you want. Let's go. And it's the same price as the beef price, apparently. Holy crap, I might book this one. Where's this, Oita? Wow. I might book this one. The other place I was looking at was like in Yufuin, which is the Hot Springs town next door. But this is really good already. Holy crap. This is really good already. It's not traditional. I'd rather pick traditional rooms than like super modern rooms. But the food spread is pretty good. It's hard to argue with a food spread. Okay, here they have bigger pictures here, so we'll look at the bigger pictures. It's hard to argue with this. Like if I had to pick the first thing I look at when I'm looking for these places, food. Onsen is secondary, but it's an important secondary one. But food, if you can get me at food, and the onsen and the price, I would want to go there. I would want to go look at this beef. It doesn't look super marbled like the Kobe beef, but I bet you the beef flavor is gonna be still pretty amazing. It's not all fat too, okay? It's not all fat too. But holy crap. The mushrooms. Okay, so we got some mushrooms, some good looking shrimp. Really fancy martini, it looks like. I don't know if that's a martini or some kind of fruit cocktail. Yeah, I said don't get distracted by the presentation. But, holy crap, this spread is good. This spread is actually looking pretty good, especially if you're a seafood lover. And the price for this, not bad at all. However, what is your reviews? So I think the only reviews you can get is through booking. I don't think you can see reviews from the actual website, but it's still not a bad idea to like switch between back and forth between a couple of those and see what we got. I'm just gonna like make an off comment on the other website I use, Japanican. Japanican is the other place I look at. We can look at this also, but this is more like the for places you might be able to find on Google, but you can't find on Booking. Some ryokans are only found on Japanican, especially the older ones, it seems. So if you prefer using a booking like a travel website, go to Japanican, go to Booking. But some places you can't find on Booking. Some places will only be on Japanican. Some places will have a physical an actual website. But let's try the same dates. 2 people, 1 room for this specific hotel. Let's see if we can find it. Sometimes we will find it, sometimes we won't. Okay, so it's over here. It seems that the price here looks a little bit closer to what you might find on the actual website. So let's see if we can actually get the specific meals. Okay, here's the other thing. Extremely rare, lowest price in months. For the Japanese style room, you get the standard kaiseki dinner with stone grilled wagyu beef. Okay, let's look at the hotel's plan for the wagyu beef. This is important for comparison. Guys, I know this seems like a lot to go like a lot to do just for a 1 night stay. But if you only have a 1 night stay, you really want to make this count. Okay? I mean, there's gonna be plenty of ryokans, there's gonna be plenty of experiences if you go back to Japan over and over again. But if you only have one chance, you really got to do your research. You really have to do your research. And for this one, we're gonna do a little bit more research because I am interested. I'm invested in this. Okay, so kaiseki meal with the beef, 35,200 is what is listed on Japanican. So Japanican and Booking are good places to go to. Booking is pretty nice because it has usually the free cancellation, but the prices listed here might be a little bit higher than their usual prices because I feel like Booking has some higher fees or something to be listed here, maybe. But this is a good place to start. Okay, and for your regular hotels and hostels, this is always a good place to go to because it's usually going to be like probably your only way to reserve those hotels and hostels anyway. But for ryokans, this is more like research, and then you go to a deep dive on the website, and then you see if there's a more convenient way to do it, like with Japanican. Those are my usual steps. But let's see, beef for 200, free cancellation until July 24th. So up to 3 days before you are actually there, they will allow you to cancel, which is pretty nice. Some places need a week notice for the cancellation. So yeah, so let's just say keep that in mind for the cancellation dates. All right. Like sometimes you can't help it. Let's say a typhoon swept by Japan during your trip, and now the place you're trying to go to is inaccessible because of floods and whatnot. It happens. It happens. But keep an eye on the cancellation date, especially for when you try to do these kinds of things. Let's see. 35,200. That is a discount, I think. For the Japanese style room. Maybe. Okay, Japanese style room. We have a couple of Japanese style rooms. Which one is this specific Japanese style room, though? I don't think it says. I don't think it says which one. This is seaside. If this is accurate, this might be the seaside view. And if it's seaside view, Beppu Bay, superb view, open air bath, semi-open air bath. I don't think it matters too much, but they listed here for about 35,000 yen for 2 people, and it is slightly cheaper through Japan again somehow. I'm not exactly sure why. Or you can just get the Japanese style Beppu side view without the bath. I don't think this one has a bath shown in the picture. This might not have a bath. Okay, so let's just assume that this one doesn't have a bath. If that one doesn't have the bath, the private bath, and it's probably gonna be this, the Beppu view. Yep, the Beppu view with a beef. It is listed here as 31,000 yen, around 31,000 yen. So this definitely still has an upcharge. Up to you. Up to you. I would go to with the main website if you could, most of the time, if you can. So yeah, if let's see, what would happen if I actually try to book this right now? So let's just pick the Western. So online credit card payment, 1 night, for 2 people, availability calendar, end of application period, no vacancy, search for another plan. Oh, okay, so this is for April. So a lot of times you see this no vacancy stuff. This is why I'm trying to tell you, you have to book ahead of time. 3 months ahead of time is like the minimum. Further out if you can. So I think for this one, it looks like, so this is 4, 5, 6. Can you go longer than 6? Okay, so some places will allow you to book up to 6 months ahead of time, but it seems like the prices shoot up the further you go out? Question mark? No, 5 months ahead of time. And it also might depend on the season. It looks like 47,520. Wow. But if we do... Wait. This is different from the price you quoted me. What the heck? Why is this different from the price you quoted me? Huh? Huh? How far back am I going? Okay. Oh no, 42,768. Okay, never mind. 42,768 is the fair price. But because of availability and the season. Okay, so there's basically no availability in May. If we go to June, availability is a bit better. Generally, you don't really want to go to an onsen in the summer. Honestly, probably the crappiest time to go to an onsen is the summer because, you know, it's hot outside and you're going to a hot bath. But if you go up into the mountains where it's a little bit cooler, onsen might make more sense. But Beppu, where this one is in particular, is what do you call this? Beppu in particular is south and warm by the ocean. So take all that take all that into account. Summer probably not the best place to be here, but for some reason, this particular price peaks at 5,100 yen on the 1st of July. I do not know why. And then the average regular price seems to be 47,520 most other days, especially. Wow, why does it peak up to 55K? Why does it peak up to 55K? I don't understand the pricing. But it's nice that they do show the pricing as you keep going. But yeah, closer to colder season, cooler season, seasonal prices definitely is a thing. I'm not sure what's going on with these days. What's going on with these days? Why is it so expensive? Please input your email address. Please know that if you enter the wrong email, you will not be able to continue reservation. In case of reservation with mobile phone, address only confirmation key. Okay, okay. Is there a cancellation fee? Is there a cancellation policy? Let's see. About child rates. So if you have children, they do get priced differently. Infant with meal, so you can bring your kids here too. Hot Springs tax is pretty cheap. It's usually like anywhere but from $2 to $5 typically added to the bill. Or the cancellation rules. Okay, here's the cancellation rules. 7 to 4 days before arrival, 10% of room charge. If you cancel way before then, I think it's 100%, so you're good. Closer it is to your date, the less you get back, and then on the day itself, room you cannot cancellation without any contact. Cancellation will be like up to 100%. Let's say you don't get any back. Writing all this down to get best deals and experience possible. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm here to help you for all your Japan travels stuff as best as I can from my own personal experiences. Maybe at this point I should just rebrand from food truck streamer to travel streamer, either a vlogging streamer or a travel streamer. I think at that point I probably should. But yeah, I need my little tour guide. What do you call this? I need my little tour guide flag here to like, hey, come over this way. This is what we gotta do, or open up a travel business. I like planning for travel, and I don't mind planning other people's travel if they want the best possible stuff. I kind of understand now what travel agencies are like. But travel agencies also try to get all these deals to make things cheaper. I'm just a planner. If I were to like offer planning services, I would like offer like what are your dates? What's your budget? Is there any places you particularly want to go? I will help you plan. And then I would be charging fees for the planning. I would be charging fees for the booking, that kind of thing. I'm thinking of business ideas now. But I don't mind it. I actually find it pretty fun, but only for myself. I don't know if I'd be willing to do it for other people. I guess at that point it's like, pay me. pay me. Pay me. Pay me a fee for this. I don't know, $50 an hour, because holy crap, it takes a lot of effort to do all this, and like finding you the deals within your budget and stuff like that. But yeah, so booking's really good for filtering out which one looks good. As well as Japanican. Honestly, Japanican is more like if you have no other options, go to Japanican for the place you want to book. I would show specific places that that you can't really book through Booking or Japanican, but it's usually the older onsens for that. Let me see if we can find an older onsen, a famous old onsen. Let's try this one. Saino Kawara Rotenburu. I think this might just be an open air bath, but let's check really quick. But I'm gonna have to revisit this for myself later because that looks pretty good, and I'm gonna be in that area at some point. Sainokawara Onsen. Also, don't look at TripAdvisor. Never look at TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is crap. A lot of really self-entitled people on that site that have no idea how these places work. So just don't bother. Recharge at Kusatsu Onsen. Kusatsu Onsen. The Rotenburo. Uh-huh. Nice open air bath. Definitely better in the winter. As you can see here, you're going to be sharing company with a lot of people. I don't know if it's gender separated or only certain genders can go in at certain times. So keep that in mind. I think this might just be an open air bath. It's not a ryokan. So there's some hot springs towns like Kusatsu Onsen. I think this one's near Nagano, I want to say. Kusatsu Onsen. Actually, did we check this? No, Kusatsu Onsen's in Gunma. Yeah, so Gunma. This is one of the nicer onsens to visit, apparently. I was wanting to try to go over there for this trip, but because of travel plans, I could not. So I have to go somewhere else. But I would like to visit this place at some point. But this is an onsen town built around all their hot springs, and I think the thing to do around here is to go to a bunch of different open air baths, like onsen hopping, and check those places out. Yeah, but this is it looks like a really neat town to visit. Let's look at let's just look at the place really quick if we can. Yeah, this one. So we had the smaller picture on this side, which looks nice at night, but this is the aerial view of the main hub. You see a lot of people here apparently, because it's a really famous for their hot springs. Famous hot springs resort with high quality of volumes of hot spring water said to cure every illness but love sickness. Now that is a stretch with curing every sickness, but it might actually help with your skin conditions, circulation, and let's see, yeah, circulation and skin stuff in general. That's for most hot springs. Some places are better for circulation, some places are better for skin conditions. You just have to do your research on that. I'm not an onsen otaku, but there are people who are onsen otaku that have more information on that, and they've gone through all different kinds of onsens from everywhere in Japan, and they have all the deets. All the deets. Also for every onsen, I think there's a certificate for every onsen that tells you exactly what's dissolved in the onsen water. So you can get the exact composition of all the minerals and stuff that's dissolved in the onsen water. And based on that is like, do you like it more do you like it more sulfuric? Do you like it more acidic? Do you like just a nice bubbly bath? Because there's some onsens are just basically carbonated water. Like seriously, it's just carbonated water. But some people like that. Um, so yeah, there's definitely information for all that somewhere. Definitely. I've never looked into it, but Yubitake. Let's look at Yubitake. Yubitake hot water field, the main area here with a bunch of shops and a giant area in the middle. I think there are foot baths. So some onsen towns have foot baths that you can just like dip your feet into as you're walking around town. I have done that before and it's fun. It is super fun. Oh, so these are all the waters apparently that get filtered to all the businesses around here for the onsen water. That's nice. Sinukawa Park. Okay, so this is just oh, so this is really just an open air bath. I see. A public open air bath. They also have ski resorts too, if you go here during the winter. Is there a difference between sulfuric and acidic water? So let's check that really quick. I'm not sure. I'm not sorry. Sulfuric onsen versus acidic onsen. You would think that sulfuric means acidic, right? Because you're probably thinking sulfuric acid, but no, it could just be the sulfur. It could just be the sulfur and the sulfur mineral without the acid in it. So, but acidic specifically might have some extra hydrogen ions in there to make it more acidic. Benefits of sulfur onsen. high amount of silica in the water. Let's see. Oh, this is from SC Health. Types of, okay, let's look at the Japan website for this. What makes an onsen? Okay, this is very regulated. What makes an onsen? Hot spring law defines an onsen to be water, water vapor, or other gases that emerge out of the earth of at least 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit, with a minimum concentration of certain minerals. There we go. That's a basic onsen definition. We probably should have looked at this way ahead, but there's a good place now. Hot spring sources. Natural hot springs that water produced spontaneously from the ground with no boring or pumping required. Bored wells, so some places you actually have to dig wells for, like oil. Bored wells that use pumps, okay, kind of like a well. Okay, water type, simple hot spring water, 25 degrees Celsius, but does not contain enough minerals to meet one of the other categories. Okay, so some is just simply hot water coming out of the ground. Simple hot springs are good for treating ailments such as fatigue, nerve pain, insomnia, high blood pressure, among others. Okay, the insomnia and high blood pressure part, you can do that at home, to be honest, if your water is hot enough. Like, honestly, just take a nice hot bath if you don't already, right before bed. And most of the time, it'll help people fall asleep better. I do it all the time, and it helps me sleep. So, your mileage may vary, but hot water helps. The fatigue and nerve pain, definitely soaking is a lot better than just showering. So simple hot water will do that regardless. Chloride hot spring water resembles seawater as it contains salt ions. Okay. Transparent chloride water helps the body retain heat. Good for treating muscle, joint pain, cuts, burns, skin ailments, and women's ailments. So maybe it's good for cramps. Possibly. So imagine salty water. I don't think I've been in one before, but that sounds interesting if you're looking for those particular ones. Now, these are not anecdotal for the most part. Well, some of them are anecdotal, but there's actual research to like, does bathing in hot springs water actually help? And I think the results for that is mostly positive. So there is something to bathing into dissolved minerals of hot water. Sulfur. Okay, here we go. This is the main hot springs that you will find, at least the ones I've run into. Recognized by their sulfurous smell akin to rotten eggs, which is actually a good thing in this case, and yellowish deposit, which is the sulfur deposits. Sulfurous hot springs expand the blood vessels, soften the skin. It has, for me. And result, they are good for treating acne, skin spots, cuts. I don't know about diabetes, but they claim diabetes. High blood pressure and joint pain. Joint pain, it will relieve it, but it won't cure it. Note that these waters can be particularly strong and stimulating, so be careful of overexposure. So I don't know what the recommended length of time is to be bathing in any hot springs water, especially with high concentration of minerals. I want to say it's like around 10 minutes. Though I don't know if you'll be able to time 10 minutes. They don't kick you out after 10 minutes unless you're doing the hot sand bath. For the hot sand bath, also, I guess it's 10 minutes. But anyway, hot springs, when you bathe in hot spring water, I think they generally recommend no longer than 10 minutes because, you know, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. But I've definitely stayed longer than 10 minutes just to soak in. You don't want to fall asleep in the bath. That's probably bad. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Sulfate, containing calcium, sodium, or magnesium sulfates. These types of hot springs waters taste bitter. Someone's tasted these before. But are revered for their healing properties. Bathing in sulfate waters is good for treating cuts, bruises, and other skin ailments, while drinking them relieves constipation. Okay, the constipation bit I understand because calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, we already do that. I think there's some sort of salts that you can get from the grocery store to do that for regular water. So the relieves constipation bit, digestive stuff with that makes sense. Uh, Cuts and bruises, I feel like that's most things, but there might be something specific with this dissolved minerals for helping cuts and bruises relieve or heal faster. Carbonated water, known for beautifying effects. These transparent waters feel soft and gentle, make your skin feel smooth. It's basically just carbonated hot water, used for treating a variety of skin ailments, possibly just exfoliation. Iron. I don't think I've had an iron onsen before. Loss of iron, type of hot spring water emerges from the ground colorless, but turns brown when it reacts to oxygen in the atmosphere. Okay. Iron hot spring water helps retain heat, raises iron levels in the body when drunk. I mean, that makes sense because you're drinking it. Making it good for ailments such as anemia and menstrual disorders. Okay. I gotta wonder though who actually drinks this stuff and where can you buy it to drink it? Or do you just drink it straight from the bath? I don't know if you want to drink it straight from the bath, but apparently you can. Radioactive. There are some radioactive hot springs apparently. Waters contain very small amounts of radium or radon, which have beneficial effects to the body, such as lowering blood pressure and treating gout, circulatory disease, high blood pressure, and rheumatism. I feel like this might be rare, and if you happen to be in a radioactive hot springs, definitely limit your exposure to that, because that's definitely a thing where too much of a good thing is a bad thing. It says very small amounts, but even very small amounts could be pretty powerful. Okay, here's the acidic one. Since the question was, what's the difference between sulfuric and acidic, right? So for sulfur, it's just pure sulfur, the sulfur mineral without the sulfuric acid portion. Acidic, on the other hand, is acidic hot springs are often found in highland areas known for their powerful sterilizing properties, which makes sense because that would probably kill most bacteria. Acidic waters are good for the skin, helping with chronic diseases and women's disorders, cramping again. On the other hand, those with sensitive skin or weak health should limit their exposure to these types of baths. Okay, I don't think that explains too much. Just know that the pH level of acidic hot springs is lower than normal and probably good for certain skin things. But because it is acidic, don't go in there for too long. Otherwise, you might melt deeper than skin level. Just saying. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide hot springs is essentially carbonated water with dissolved H2O gas. I feel like that's the same thing as carbonated up here, but what's the difference? Bubbly water tends to be less hot than other hot spring types, and is quite rare in Japan. Okay, but apparently if you have it, it's kind of popular. Keeps the body warm, helps to expand blood vessels and lower blood pressure, like most hot water. Why would you want to risk yourself for benefits that you don't even know if they work or not? Hey, some people just want to. There is a place with acidic hot springs that people go to a lot. I think it's up north in the Tohoku region. I don't remember exactly where, but there's definitely people who do that just to experience them, and they come out fine. I mean, I don't think anyone's dissolved in a hot springs before. That would be kind of bad, but I feel like it's diluted enough to where it does have the healing properties, but definitely no, it's acidic for a reason. Yeah, just I'm sure there's recommendations how long you stay in it by the locals and stuff like that, but me personally, I would try it just to try it. But yeah, if you have particularly sensitive skin, apparently don't do it. Just go somewhere else. So this is the iron water. Apparently, it doesn't look very brown, but there's definitely a lot of rusty bits around the pipe. Carbonated water on skin center. Oh, it's bubbly. Okay, it's definitely bubbly. Yellowish bluish sulfur water. This is the one I'm used to seeing, and this is, I think, the sulfuric waters are probably one of the best ones for me personally. I like the sulfuric waters, but I wouldn't mind trying the other ones minus the radioactive one. I don't want to. I don't think I'm brave enough to try a radioactive hot springs. I don't even know where you find radioactive hot springs, but you can find that out yourself. Water treatments. While onsen enthusiasts prefer their hot water to flow as unchanged as possible, there are several treatments that are often made to the water before it reaches the bathers because sometimes they're too hot, they're too concentrated. Untreated, Gensen Kakinagashi refers to hot springs water that flows directly from the source into a bathtub without treatment. It is considered the top quality onsen water and available especially in traditional onsen resorts. Okay, so if you're looking for that specifically, there's some places for that. Cooling down with water, some hot spring water is close to boiling at the source, and this is why you mix it with regular water. Must be cooled down before you can bathe in. I mean, imagine boiling water and trying to bathe in boiling water. I don't think you want to do that. You will be cooked. You will be cooked. I think most people when they bathe in hot springs water, I think it's like what's I need a temperature. I need a temperature thing. C to F. What is 77 Fahrenheit? 77 Fahrenheit is 25 degrees. I think onsen water in general, from what I have tried, are usually around 40 degrees Celsius, which is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. And that is already pretty darn hot. Some go as far as I want to say 44 degrees Celsius, which is 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, boiling water for reference is 100 degrees Celsius, more than double the 44, and that is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the stuff you cook your ramen in. Do you want to be cooked ramen? Do you want to be boiled meat? I don't think so. You do not want to be bathing in 100 degrees Celsius water or hotter. 44, I think, is usually the limit, but in general, around 40 is the normal temperature that I've seen for the most part. Let's see. Yeah, some are cooled down by running it through a fountain, waterfall, or canal where it can lose some heat before being fed into the baths. Okay, so instead of mixing it with water, you just let it travel for longer and then it gets cooled down from the traveling, which makes some sense. Some places cool down the water by mixing it with tap water, but this dilutes the minerals and is frowned upon by onsen purists. I imagine you don't want to dilute the minerals as much as possible if you don't want to. I mean, if you want the full benefits, I guess. Heating up the water. Likewise, some hot springs water emerge at temperatures too low for comfortable bathing. So the 25-degree onsen water sometimes has to be heated up, and you do not want to bathe in 25-degree onsen water. It just makes no sense. So you would heat those up. Can be heated up, preferably without diluting the water. Maybe some people like being in a human soup. I mean, you will be in human soup anyway, even at 44 degrees. But you do not want to be cooked. That's the thing. You don't want to be cooked. I don't know what temperature cooking starts, but I'm pretty sure it's below boiling. Like if you go even below, even if you go low enough below boiling, you can still be cooked. But boiling, you will be cooked if you're in there long enough. I mean, the human soup bit is kind of like the gamer girl bathwater, you know? That happened a few years back. It might still be happening. I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. That's basically human soup, if you want to think about it that way. Adding water, I guess it's the same as the cooling down bit. Adding water is done to adjust the temperature. if it's too hot or too cold. Adds volume to water, and for example, in case of hot springs water sources that are not productive enough to fill an entire bath. Okay, so they do that to fill the bath. To dilute the water, for example, to make it less acidic. There's also this thing over here. Remember what I said about the acidic waters? So if it's too acidic, it's going to melt your skin off, as well as maybe other things on your body. So you kind of have to do it for safety reasons. Imagine onsen purists saying, no, give me the pure onsen, acidic onsen water. How about no? You want to kill yourself by bathing in onsen? Some people are crazy enough to do that, but I don't think I want to risk my body and limbs for pure acidic onsen water. That just does not sound good. Recirculating of the water. Many facilities, especially those that lack an abundant flow of fresh hot spring water, filter and recirculate the water in their baths. Needless to say, these are not considered top quality baths. Yeah, that makes sense. Adding chlorine to the water, which I don't think is normal. An increasing number of facilities use chlorine to disinfect their bath water, especially modern facilities and facilities that do not enjoy large amounts of fresh onsen water. The chlorine unfortunately leaves a rather desirable smell and feel in the water. I see. So that's the downside of going to a modern hotel. Good to know. Good to know. I will keep an eye on this because I was almost going to like reserve this place, not this place. This place that looks a little bit more modern, but it might not have the same thing as this. But I think Beppu should be okay. I want to say Beppu should be okay. Not all hot spring water is equal. Okay, those are your hot springs facts for today, and hopefully you know a little bit more about that. There's I know I read some of this before, but yeah, I think my favorite though would have to be the sulfur hot springs water. Those I think you can find mainly around the Tohoku region. Nyuto Onsen is particularly good about that. I'm not sure what kind of water is in Hakone, unless we can check that really quick. I definitely want to check the type of water in Hakone. Hakone. Oh, it's up here. Best hot spring, most popular hot spring resorts because it's near Tokyo. So if you there's probably the one most people go to near Tokyo. There's also Gunma, the Kusatsu Onsen one. That's also a nice option. Let's see. Nowadays, more than a dozen springs provide hot spring water to many bathhouses and ryokan. That's high quality water with numerous baths and inns, but it doesn't say what kind of bath water it is. At least not from here. Okay. Let's see, what time is it? It's been 2 hours? I think we got a pretty decent look of a bunch of onsen facts, how to pick ryokan and stuff like that. So let me just summarize really quick. I'm not in a rush to end for today, but I think we covered the information we needed to cover. Let me just double check. So depending on where you want to go, your onsen choices are going to be different. I think that's a given. So if you want to be around close to Tokyo, or you're going to be only in Tokyo, but you want to go somewhere close for onsen, there's a few options for that. Kusatsu Onsen is going to be your better pick. Hakone is a nice one. Then there's these other ones that are listed here, but you can also check Google. Don't hesitate to check Google for recommendations there also, because I've seen some onsen recommendations on Google that are not on this website that are also pretty good, at least on the surface. Food. One of the best things to look at for what do you call it? One of the best things to look at for how to pick an onsen, a ryokan, is what kind of food they serve. Does the spread look good? Do the actual ingredients look good? What do the rooms look like? Do you want a traditional room? Do you want a modern facility that has both traditional and modern rooms? Or do you want to go super traditional? Let's see if we can find a super traditional one. Fukumizo is super traditional. I think this one's also super traditional. Generally, the more expensive ryokans are also super traditional. They're expensive for a reason, and they're traditional for a reason. They like to preserve a lot of history. I think this one's more modern or modernized, but it has a semi-traditional feel to the location. At least their setup feels fairly nice. I'm trying to find a super traditional one. Yufu in Hoteya. So this one is in Yufu, which is next to Beppu, the city of Beppu, and the city of Yufu. Yufu is mostly known for their onsen, which I think I looked at this one on my personal time, and the onsen bath and for this particular place is really nice. Look at how big it is. Look how big this place is. Holy crap, it's nice. The food also looks pretty good. Look at the seafood up here. Look at the seafood up here. Let's look at their website really quick. So I want to show this to you really quick. I don't think I've looked at their website specifically, but it might not be a bad idea to try. So some websites are Japanese only. So you just kind of have to maybe like run Google Translate on it or something. But this one has a specific English website. So food. Always look at the dishes. If you're interested in the chef, definitely look into them. But I'm more interested in what the dishes look like. And look at the spread. It doesn't look like much, and this might just be the only course. But I'm assuming there's going to be other things. If it looks like there's small little things on here, there's probably going to be maybe 2 or 3 courses on top of this. But it looks like for this particular place that has lobster, if you're into lobster, or at least well prepared lobster, don't get distracted by the what do you call it? The plating, the arrangement. It looks really nice, but you always keep an eye out on the actual ingredients. The plating and the arrangement is also always good. They're usually going to be presented as good as they can be. But always look at the ingredients, see what they're serving, and see if that's something you'll be interested in. So look at their food, look at their rooms. Look at their rooms. Do you want a super modern? Do you want something traditional that looks traditional? Do you want it to be super rustic? There are places that are super rustic in appearance, and it feels like you're out in the middle of nowhere, out in nature basically, and that was what Nyuto Onsen was. No, that was Fukumizu. That was Fukumizu. Nyuto Onsen, Kuruyu. Let's look at the one that I went to from their own website, not my pictures, because I don't have the other pictures. I do have the other pictures, but you know, can't show those. So Kuruyu, out in Nyuto Onsen, basically in the middle of nowhere, but the best part of the middle of nowhere. And this site is Japanese only, so you will run into this kind of thing. The black eggs. Reservations in English, please. Show me the English website. I want to be able to read. Oh, so this is just the reservations. Okay. Can I see the room? Oh, I guess they had some, they had Western rooms. I did not get a Western room. No, I got a traditional room. I got a Japanese style room, in all sense of the word. So yeah, do you want super traditional, or do you want to be a little bit more modern? The modern one's more comfort, but the traditional one's also comfortable. It's just, you know, probably a bit more bare bones than what you're probably used to. Or you can go with semi-modern here. Semi-modern with traditional furnishings and whatnot, which is also good. Let's see. Food, rooms, atmosphere. We already covered modern, traditional. Reputation. I guess it kind of goes hand in hand with like where you want to pick your your stay at. Also, reviews. If they're, like I said, the main websites will not have reviews. You can probably find some reviews on the website through Google. Like there's Google reviews here too. You can check those out, but I feel like if you want to check these out, you want to check the Japanese reviews most of the time, because those are fairly honest, I guess. And most of the time, Japanese people use Google reviews. I don't know that many other people outside of Japan that use Google reviews, but there's still people that do. There's still people that do. Yeah, so this is translated. This is not translated. Definitely not translated. But yeah, take Google reviews, grain of salt. The ones from Booking, fairly honest for the most part. But yeah, just get a good feel for what you're looking for and what you're willing to, what to expect, and the price. Always the price. You know, we looked at some expensive places that were like 400 plus for two people, and if the price looks good, always. I mean, if the price looks good for what you're getting, yeah, why not? Go for it. In general, though, you will probably get the best price through their website themselves if they have one, which they should. If they don't, like, just do what you can. And you have the original. Yeah, always look through the booking listings. Go through Google if you want to get ideas, and then compare prices between Japanican. Some places are only available on Japanican, so what can you do? Um, Booking, and then of course their original website. Compare the prices. Usually you'll get the best price of their original website because they don't have to pay any listing fees through there. And be mindful of the cancellation dates. Also be mindful of when you can actually reserve. 3 to maybe 5 months out. I want to say 6, but that's a rarity. Usually 3 to 5 months out. You don't want to book a month before because that gets really tough, and the availability is really small at that point. Uh, my recommendation, though, as far out as you can, as comfortably as you can, because sometimes the pricing may fluctuate a little bit. But yeah, we could cover a lot more about this, but I think that covers the basics of what I want to let you guys know. So before we head out for today, do you have any questions? Is there anything you want for me to look into? Like we already looked at the type of onsen baths. Me personally, I kind of wanted part of the stream to be like me trying to go through different ryokans for the place I'm going to, and I'm still debating on that. And I think I found a couple of places that look interesting while doing this. But at the same time, I want to give you guys good information, at least as good information as I can provide you, for how to do it for yourself. Whenever you, what it goes, for whenever you plan your trip or whenever you're actually able to go. Like, I know it's expensive. I know it's expensive. Even on the cheaper end, it's still a bit expensive. But I promise you it's worth it. Okay? And don't be worried about seeing other naked people in the bath, okay? That's just normal. You gotta be naked when you go into the bath. Don't be worried about that. The only thing about the bath that I will mention though is if you have tattoos, there's a big one. If you have tattoos, contact the location first before you reserve and ask them if it's okay to bathe in their onsen with tattoos. That is extremely important. I say that because if you've played Yakuza before or know anything about the Yakuza, you know Yakuza will always have tattoos. And because of them specifically, uh, there are most onsen, in general, most onsen are banned from having anyone with tattoos in the bath. It doesn't matter if you're Yakuza or not. Just in general, no tattoos. So always ask if you have tattoos to do that. If you have a private bath attached to your room, then that's okay. You can go in with tattoos, no problem. However, if you're going to a public into like a general bathing area, a public bathing area, always ask first. That's the biggest tip here. Biggest tip especially. Don't want any surprises. I know a lot of people like to get tattoos. I personally do not have one because of this very reason. If I were to get a tattoo, I'm just not. I'm just I can see it being neat, but not for me. How can you tell the difference between traditional and modern? Well, main one is you can probably look around and see how long the place has been around. Most places listed in Japan Guide are more traditional ones. Modern ones are going to be looking like regular hotels. Like if a place has these Western style rooms, they're probably going to be on the modern side, or at least renovated. But this looks like everything is fresh and new, at least from this picture. Okay, at least from this picture. Kuroyu. Kuroyu, on the other hand, definitely is an older establishment. Kuroyu Onsen. Onsen. Kuroyu Onsen is definitely an older establishment. I mean, if you look at the outside here, if you look at their pictures, you'll definitely see a lot of older buildings around the onsen area. Generally, the onsen in Yuto Onsen are going to be more traditional and older. The ones around Hakone are a little bit of a mix of traditional and modern. Like the more wood you see in general, like the more natural wood you see, I feel like that's more traditional, a little bit more rustic, if that makes sense. That's how I look at it anyway. There might be specific ways to look at it, but that's how I see it. Now, Kuroyu also has some modern rooms. I'm guessing these are, what do you call this? Not refurbished. What is it called? Updated, renovated. Um, and if you find this in a traditional place, that's also fine. That's also fine. But I mean, I'm just saying in general, the whole feel of the place. Like if you look at Kuroyu from the outside, okay. If you look at Kuroyu from the outside, there's the outside. You would probably say, yeah, this kind of looks rustic. This kind of looks more traditional to me. And then if you look at something like this area, seaside, the seaside place, this definitely looks more. I mean, it has some traditional setups, furnishings, and all that, but the insides is like all tiled, lots of tiling, lots of maybe some metal in there also. Let's see if we can get a better picture here. I mean, come on, this place has a pool on the outside. If that's not modern, I don't know what is. Also, this is their front. This is their front over here. There might be some older hotels from the 50s and 60s, maybe even early 1900s, that will look like this. But when I say older, traditional, I'm talking about like closer to the 1800s. And I think there's some onsen that are even older than that. So if they have a particular history, you can definitely look at that. I think there's one YouTube video up that said they went to the oldest onsen in Japan, and I think the onsen was from the 1600s. Can you imagine going to an onsen from the 1600s? That'd be, or a ryokan from the 1600s. I think that's kind of amazing. I would like to go there if there's actually availability. I haven't seen the video yet, but I have seen the video floating around. Just haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, in general, you can just take a quick glance at the rooms and the outsides of facilities and all that stuff and tell, yeah, this looks pretty new. This looks pretty new. If not 2000s new or 90s new, then at least 1950s new. But older places will also have renovated stuff. Let's look at Kuryu really quick. Not Kuryu. Fuzu Hakone. Let's just go to Hakone. Let's just go to Hakone. Ryokan. Ryokan Hakone. Why am I in Vienna? Why am I in Vienna? Do not want to be in Vienna. Okay, Ryokan. Fukuzumiro. So this one was super traditional, super rustic, even though it's like fairly close to the train station. You can see there's still quite a bit of wood here. Definitely more traditional cuts of wood. And I think it's gone through some renovations, but in general, I don't think a whole lot. Like I said, the bath could use some work here, a lot of work. But in general, this is definitely more traditional than the other places that we've seen. I'm hoping I explained that well enough, but usually it's a at a glance kind of thing. Does it look new? Does it not look new? If we look at Fukuzumiro really quick, this is why we have multiple sources and a lot of research, even just for one night, because it can make a whole lot of difference. Like I realized I got unlucky on my maybe not unlucky. Maybe I realized I didn't do as much research the first time I did this, but apparently it's also a cultural heritage hotel. So there's that. There's that. About us. What is in the about us section? Registered as a cultural property. Definitely very old. 17 rooms. Yada yada yada. How old is it? So this is the old Fukuzumiro, it looks like. Definitely looks a lot different back then compared to now. But if you look at this picture, it looks like that awning is fairly similar. This is from the 1890s even. I would say that's still fairly traditional, especially back then in that era. Building was totally destroyed 20 years after it was established in a flood. Oh, wow. And then it was rebuilt. I see. Renamed it Fukuzumiro to restart the business. But it's still fairly traditional. Fairly traditional. But yeah. Any other questions before we head out for today? But yeah, it's kind of interesting looking at the different places and trying to just pick and choose which ones you want. And you know, a lot of like it's reviews. Some people say reviews are kind of biased and don't really look at reviews too much. But for these kinds of things, every little bit of information you can get is a good thing. And especially with booking, definitely go with the 8+ overall average. Higher is better. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be cheap. Like this one over here, that the $936 per night. Oof. I don't know if I paid 900 for it. I honestly don't know if I paid 900 for this. It looks nice. This place looks nice. And the setup for the rooms is very good. Like you have a nice room and you have a very nice looking public personal bath outside. The food pictures are very sparse. Let's see if we can find anything for this one. I just wanted to look at this last one really quick before we head out because I am very curious about this. Why is it so expensive? You see, Google reviews say 4.4, but Booking says 9.3. I mean, 4.4 out of 5 is still pretty good, but I would for 9.3, I would expect that to scale to 4.9. You know? Okay, so let's look at the restaurant. I want to see the food. This is what I want to see, and they don't show much food on the booking website. So why is it? Kaiseki. Oh crap. Your pictures take a long time to load. Seasonal kaiseki cuisine at a western villa of the imperial family. The former villa, built in the early 1900s in the Showa period. The royal family? Wait, they stayed here? Guests do not need to make reservations for the restaurant, so you just go in whenever it's time to eat. Okay, wow. Yeah, okay, so this is definitely westernized. I'm guessing this is how they designed it. Dining room setting, not the eat in your room setting. Very fancy. Little cubes of Wagyu beef. Okay, so apparently, oh, I see. I see. So the food doesn't come with the room. It's a separate order. 5 dishes for 4,200 yen. So that's about less than 40 bucks. Then the kaiseki course, this is the box lunch, and then the kaiseki courses go up to 24,000 yen, almost well, a quarter of the price of your room, maybe. And then the children's meal for 24 bucks, 20 bucks. Above rates include 10% service charge and 10% tax. No tipping in Japan, but the service charge is included, so there's that. Still not a whole lot of pictures here, so I'm still really curious what the food looks like. But I guess because of this reputation and history, they charged a ridiculous price for the place. I will say though that it looks really nice. So for the facilities themselves, you could justify that price. But I'm a food person. The facilities and location justifies the price, but the food. What does the food look like? I'm just saying onsen room. Also, this is rare in Japan in general. Exercise rooms are very rare, so just keep that in mind. I mean, it's nice to stay in, and maybe if you can afford a night there, it'll be worth a night to find out if it's worth it or not. But I feel like you're paying a price for the prestigiousness more than anything. Anyway, there's just that. There's a lot of stuff to look at. There's a lot of stuff to look at. I don't know. Should I offer Japan planning services at some point? I don't know. Let me know in the comments after the stream if you would be interested in a Japan planning service from me. I would plan your places to stay within your budget, and I'm not gonna plan where you go, but you tell me where you want to, how many days you have, and where you want to go, and then we'll go from there. Do you want the onsen? Do you want the ryokan package? Do you want me to plan a ryokan for you? That kind of thing. But I feel like it's better to do it for yourself, because then it's your personalized trip. If you're having me plan it for you, it's what I would want to do for the trip. That's a little different, you know? But would you still be interested in that? Let me know in the comments after the stream. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. I could talk forever about this, but I think we covered what we needed to. And I hope you got the information you wanted from this stream. If there's anything else you want me to cover in the future regarding this or any other topics that you want me to cover, please let me know. And we'll go from there. Thank you everyone for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed that talk, that stream. And I'll see you all next time. This will be available on the podcast. I think if you look for this channel on the podcast, you should be able to find it. The podcast on YouTube. YouTube has a podcast thing now, apparently. Let me know if you find this channel through the podcast. There should be a playlist for the Japan Talk series. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming again, and see you next time. Bye bye.